So an issue that I'm seeing in the gym a lot is seated row. So overhand, underhand, just they're manipulating their body too much, using too much momentum. So today that's what I'm going to go over. I'm going to go over the wide over and under, and the narrow over and under. Just hit that pause button right now. Go down, subscribe, and comment anything that you guys want me to touch on that you see in your gyms or techniques that you want me to go over. So I'm going to start with the wide. So this is a wide underhand. Realistically, the most common mistake is people start doing momentum. So you see this. It's like they're rowing a boat. So the big thing that you want to do is you want to get that full stretch. So lean in and think about the whole thing, the whole premise of the chest pop or chest popping up. So it's just here. And you see that my torso is not moving. And where your underhand, your elbows can stay nice and tight, and you're gonna feel that scapular retraction. So don't worry about how far, how close that bar gets to you. Worry about the feel. So it's where elbows are going. So I can't go any further than that, and my hands are still out in front of me. So the bar is going to be out here because that's a bent bar. So, and it's going to be different for the overhand. So let's move on to the overhand. Okay, same idea. You're going to get into that stretch. Pop that chest up and feel that stretch all the way across. And in.
What's the difference between the two?
So the difference between the two is more on overhand, you're having a lot less bicep assistance. And with the overhand, your elbows are slightly turned outward compared to the underhand where you can kind of keep your elbows in nice and tight. So it's just that slight difference on where it's going to hit your back. Again, this comes down to a lot of people think wider is better for a wider back, but it comes down to activation. So if you're not feeling it, wherever you're feeling it, that's where it's going to grow. So it's why I always really push and promote feeling over weight. If you're not, like, if you're just moving weight, that's not growth. You're not really doing anything. So we're going to move on to narrow grip. All right, so let's get into narrow underhand. Same thing, but now my hands are a lot closer together. My elbows are going to be closer together when I pull this in. So get into that full stretch. And that chest is popping up. You see that my elbows are a lot tighter to my torso. So that's going to engage a lot more lower lat. Than it is if I'm going overhand. Overhand, my elbows are going to tend to travel outward. You can still try to keep them in, but they are going to be angled out towards your body, away from your body. Personally, I like underhand more for the narrow. I just find it gives me more activation in my lower lat insertion. So it helps me flex more at that point where you're really kind of holding it back. The overhand, for me, I tend to stay towards like the mid to wider grip. I find it gives me a little bit more activation in the mid back rather than the lower. So, and that's just personal preference. That's just where I feel it when I change over my grips. So the next time you guys are doing this, realize where you're feeling it, lower the weight, start with the stretch. I always promote starting with the stretch first. Once you get that stretch point, then all you're doing is popping your chest up. So you're not using your torso to help moving along, just so you can drop that pin. You just full stretch and you're popping. Full stretch, pop. You don't have to use your whole torso to help get this thing moving. So you want the distance between your neck and your shoulder. So when you see that I'm in here, my head's up, my shoulders aren't up near my neck. So instead of doing this, which is great, you feel a good stretch, but you have to do this to get going. So if you just come down here, my lats are still engaged. Like there's still tension on my lats and I still feel a stretch. This is just pure stretch. Like the tension is the stretch. So if you're going for the stretch, yeah, but get back up in here before you start and then go. That would be my recommendation. So take that into consideration next time you're doing seated rows and use it and go for it.